Hello everybody, AnChairGuy here. I've been working on this game for about a week now, adding instruction to it. I heavily suggest watching the first video for extra context for everything, like the idea of the game or player spray. Now, onto the game. I first started with attacking, which is the main part of this devlog. The attack so far is just a placeholder until I make something else. I use a simple timer to activate the slash to break stuff, but there's nothing to break, meaning I gotta make something. I made another placeholder for the breakable blocks because I wanted the code as fast as possible. When the slash hits a breakable block, the block breaks. Simple, right? So far the blocks do literally nothing, but I plan to make them drop the game's currency when I make them. The only problem with these blocks is a lack of difficulty attacking them. So I made enemies to hit. You'll not believe what kind of spray I used for the enemies. If you guessed placeholders, you're right. Since back in DEVLOG 1 I made a customizable stake system, I was able to easily recreate an enemy version that works for every enemy. I made timers for how long each enemy state lasts for, like I do in walking. When I was testing out enemies, I realized one feature that would make fighting enemies more fun is knockback. When an enemy touches the slash, the code calculates the knockback direction by subtracting the other body's position with the enemy's position. To be more specific in this situation, the player's position minus the enemy's. I even added an export variable for changing knockback. Export variables make changing variables easier without going into the code for people who don't know. Similar to my last video, I'll show you guys the reason I made these state machines for the enemies. Let's pretend I'm making these free enemies. I can make a script that makes them move, attack, stuff like that. But what if I wanted the last two enemies to be able to aim upwards? I would A, make a new script, B, make a boolean, true or false, for if the enemy can aim upwards, or C, make a variable that's the enemy's type. The first would make too many scripts. The second and third would get even more unorganized the more I want to add. With the state machine, I can add the states I want, create a timer for how long I want each state to be, and set basic types so the enemies can switch to the states as I want. It's important for me to say the difference between using both types is that option C creates many if statements in the enemy script, while the basic type tells the enemy what to change their state to. I want fighting to be simple, so I made HP and damage super small. The player starts out with 1 damage and 3 HP, with beginning enemies having 2 to 3 HP. Like mid-game, the enemies would get more HP, giving the player a reason to spend money on to upgrade damage. The mini-bosses would be similar to bosses from other games, like having more HP and more complex attacks. I want the main bosses in this game to be more unique in the way you fight them. Instead of waiting for the boss to show a weak point, the player would run a set level while dodging the boss's attacks. When I played fast-paced games like Pizza Tower and Anton Blast, I would almost never replay the bosses because I felt like they broke the pace of those games. I know some people like these bosses or the break and pace from the main game, but I do not. So I'll try to make bosses that don't break the fast pace of the game. Before you type in the comments, "Oh, chair guy, what about those mini bosses you talked about? Don't they break the pace too?" I'll tell you this. The mini bosses are optional. If you want to go fast, ignore the mini bosses. If you want an extra challenge, slow down and do the mini bosses. Well, this is everything so far on my game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't watched the first video, you should do that. It's only 3 minutes and has more info about state machines or the play design. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!